One of the fun things for me about doing film study of players from different teams, especially when, YouTube commentators, request a video of a particular guy, is it kind of sends me down a film rabbit hole. Completed a film study a couple of days ago on Jesse Bates, and one of the plays that he nearly made was against the Packers during a 25-22 loss during the regular season in 2021. And that led me to watching Aaron Rodgers, a handful of Aaron Rodgers throws based upon that interaction and one of the reads that he made. Ravens fans have rarely had to deal with this guy in terms of watching him carve up our defense since he's in the NFC. In 2021, we had to. We had to see what NFC North teams have to deal with twice a year. Think about the impact that can have on the entire division. Not just one team. If I did my research correct, since 2019, the Packers are 15-3 against the NFC North, which is pretty unbelievable. I think they have won the NFC North 8 of the past 11 years. Their 3 losses since 2019 was 28-22 to the Vikings in 2020, 34-31 to Minnesota this past year, and then I think they dropped the last week of the regular season. I think they dropped a game to the Lions when Rodgers only played like half the game, and then I think they brought in Jordan Love, so they finished 13-4. Watching some of the film, it looks like an 80s horror movie, for real. It looks like The Terminator. And I can only imagine the feeling that it is for fans. I don't envy the Lions, Vikings, and Bears at all after watching how he manipulated and really toyed with the Ravens defense in back in week 15. These first 2 plays here it's clinical and it's perfect. I think he knows where he's going with the football. This first one is an empty formation. You can see that there's no one in the backfield with Aaron Rodgers back here. And what he's going to do is he's going to attack Patrick Queen to the backside. When I say backside, I mean there's 2 receivers here, and then there's a tight end and 2 receivers here. When I refer to the backside, I mean the side that has less receivers available for him. And Patrick Queen has a lot of space to cover because there's a bracket or a double team down at the bottom of the screen on Davante Adams down here. You've got 2 Ravens defenders aligned to attack him, so just to help cover him. So just numbers-wise, with a 4-man rush, it's got to leave somebody with a lot of space to cover. When I say space, I mean horizontal space from sideline to sideline. The empty formation really spreads people out. Just do the math. 4-man rush, we're bracketing the best receiver in the game, or one of the top 2 or 3 best, and then we've got a middle-of-the-field free safety. There's just a whole lot of space for Patrick Queen to have to deal with. Rodgers knows, in my opinion, exactly where he's going with this throw. Pre-snap, he does one of his patented look-away moves. But as soon as and you'll see it from the end zone angle here, as soon as he receives the football, he's locked on to the matchup between Queen and then a wide receiver, Allen Lazard, is off screen here. Queen has a tendency to keep real heavy eyes on the quarterback almost at all times, whether he's playing man or zone, to be honest with you. And Lazard crosses his face and snags a pass just slightly off his back hip for a first down. Rodgers knows where he's going with the football often. Of the 50 throws that I really, really watched in detail, I would say 20% of the time, and this is a rough guess, he knows where he's going with the football before the ball is even snapped, based on the coverage he thinks he's got and the matchup. To me, he's like, to use a music reference, he's almost like Beethoven and Mozart at the same time. He's innately gifted at some of the skills needed to play quarterback in the NFL, but he's also someone who's become so incredible at the other more difficult to acquire skills over the years that it makes him virtually unstoppable. The game looks easy. I almost feel guilty trying to analyze it, to be honest with you. Do other quarterbacks attack with a 3-by-2 set? Do other quarterbacks attack the backside inside linebacker? Yes, they do. Of course they do. But Rodgers does this so easy, and the pre-snap look away, it might not be 100%, but I think he's doing that often to look at the bracket or the double team on Adams to make the defenders, for a moment think that he's focused on Adams when really all he's doing is trying not to give away his real intentions. He gets the same look here. Adams down the slot to the bottom with what looks like a likely bracket on him, pre-snap, and he attacks Queen once again. same side of the field to the boundary. He's like the Terminator. There's just a cold, clinical manner. He finds the matchup and he exploits it. Look, Patrick Queen doesn't play this bad at all, guys. Like, look at that. Not at all. Rodgers just puts it in a great spot. Queen's eyes are better once the ball is snapped. And him and Josh Bynes do the same thing. Once the ball is snapped, both of their eyes look out. So they're trying to wall people out and prevent them from crossing their face like the receiver did in the first throw that I showed you. This is just a great throw. And again, Queen plays it quite well. Good coverage, I think. Just a better catch, a better throw, and an even better catch. Beautiful stuff. I almost feel guilty for making a video on Aaron Rodgers. It should be easy to appreciate what he does, right? What do you do when you're facing a guy like this? You choose a slow death, like those last two plays where you have him force him to throw the ball short, and then and all he's doing is probing for the matchup in a breakdown. Here against the Vikings, they got Adams set up as the backside in trips. So when I say trips, I mean 3 receivers to the right, and then Adams is backside. He's going to occupy. I think this is Peterson, and then also the safety here to the backside is going to be focused on Davante Adams. We know that could change in 2022, right? Because Adams isn't there. So the defenses might not be as limited. We're pointing out the efficiency that Rodgers has against everything. It was a beautiful throw. He played a great game this week against the against the Vikings. One thing I don't think you do is you don't put your inside linebackers up here. They're bringing a stunt. It's a 6-man pressure, I believe. They're trying to make it look like a 6-man pressure, but they do stunt these 2 inside backers. I just feel like you give him too much space to deal with because he knows you've got to dedicate a safety, a third-level player, to Davante Adams. Packers lost this game. I think he knew where he was going with this football. He knows he's got 3 vertical, and Adams is running the in or the under. You can see he's occupied that corner, number 7, and Harrison Smith, the safety. And he found Valdez-Scantling for a 75-yard touchdown. Rodgers and Adams put on a show. At least one other throw from that game I'll show you later. Post-snap, he does tend to look to Adams' side. How's that going to change? 2022, of course, Adams is on the Raiders. I'm not sure. Not an easy throw. Perfectly lofted throw. Next one is again against the Ravens. Again, empty formation. 2 receivers here. 3 to the field. Same exact look, just mirrored as the first 2 plays. Again, I don't know that you should be walking inside backers up to the line of scrimmage and then expecting them to drop out. If this isn't the best throw in this video I'm showing you, this is the second best throw. Takes a great throw to beat this coverage by Chris Board. Board turns and gets out of there. But Rodgers just has confidence in his guys. And once he sees Levine shade to the other side, he unleashes a ridiculous throw. So there's Board. Board's going to drop out of here. And he's going to cover a vertical, which I think, again, is from Valdez-Scantling. A seam route, excuse me. As soon as Levine drops and gets to the outside of this hash, once he widens that way, Rodgers knows he's got it, and it's an amazing throw. It's a 3-man rush. I think Bowser ends up beating the left tackle over here. And he's there just a little bit too late since the ball's out so quick. His release is borderline unfair. He's got a shorter release than any QB I've watched a lot of film of since I've started doing film breakdowns. As a Ravens fan, unfortunately, we had to deal with Brady so many years in the playoffs, so he's got a hair trigger release as well on quick game concepts and when he's being blitzed. You get the same feeling dealing with Aaron Rodgers. It feels like things are inevitable. So here's an example of what happens when Adams is left one-on-one. I believe he's going to run like an out and up. Rodgers has a sick throw over the DB. He just drops it into some space where the safety couldn't get there. And then Adams jukes a guy after the catch. It's an embarrassing play, to look at it where there's 2 defenders on the ground and then a third who was unable to make him, have him make up any play on the ball. You'd have to think that there's going to be some impact with Adams being gone because he was so elite. Adams seemed to be involved in the immediate progression on almost every play, or he was being used to pull defenders away, like I showed you in the 3 or 4 plays from the Ravens game. Rodgers looks over there now, pre-snap, and then he confirmed what coverage he had, And we can't see him very well, but you can see the safeties. Actually, you can't, I don't think. I have a title bar up there. But the safety's feet are just there inside the hash. He stays locked on, and just a perfect pass. He's just a legendary quarterback at this point, and giving him a talent like Adams is probably unfair. It's probably a good thing that Adams moved on, right? Another one where Adams is a part of the read progression, being used possibly as bait. There's like a stacked twins alignment here with him and Valdez-Scantling. And I think Rodgers is reading the corner. At this point, he's obviously where the Ravens have been bracketing Adams. I think Adams is going to run a little out, and Levine is going to trail him, and then Averett's going to stay on top of it. So what Rodgers is going to do is he's going to throw the little post corner route to Valdez-Scantling. And from the end zone angle, you'll see he's going to look away briefly. I think he's just trying to hold the safety, which is Brandon Stevens. Here, I think he's looking just to hold the safety, or just to confirm that he's not rolling over the top, and maybe they're doing something like this. So still figuring out a way to double or bracket Adams. I think he's just confirming, and you'll see it from the end zone angle, that safety is sitting still and not going to be able to make a play. Again, I think he knows where he's going with the football. As soon as he confirms that Averett is sitting up and not dropping back like a deep third cover 3 alignment. Ravens had 3 defenders over 2. So I think with his eyes, he's just keeping the free safety where he is, right after the mesh. I think he's just trying to keep that safety where he is, but you can almost even see his eyes now. Looking, before his face mask even turned, I feel like I can see his eyes looking over there. Maybe I'm imagining things because he's so damn good at everything he does on the football field. He makes it look simple. Like I said, I guess it's a good thing that Davante Adams moved on for the rest of the league. All right, some plays where he adapts mid-play. Actually, maybe not this one. Sometimes the design of a play is really exquisite, and it helps a quarterback out. In this case, Rodgers takes advantage of it. It looks like he's just out for a walk in the park. This one's down in the red zone against the Ravens. Bunch left, closed. So you've got 3 receivers here, and then a tight end backside. This one is all designed, if you ask me, to free up this running back. I think the Packers know the coverage that they're getting. Watch how they pick or rub this inside linebacker, Josh Bynes, from the bunch side. They're going to basically pick him, and it allows this running back to get open for an easy touchdown. The timing is sick, though. It's really sick. Watch the running back juke outside for a moment, and all that was doing is trying to sync up the timing with the pick or the rub concept. That's it. You get another look at it here. So all they're doing is trying to sync up this pick concept so that Bynes and the running back so that Bynes wasn't able to climb over the top. Another thing to notice is really intricate design. There's multiple levels of beauty here. This receiver is not trying to cross Bynes' face. I think that's Adams. Now, yeah, you could say, well, this safety's just running with Adams because he's such a great player. Yes, that is an element of it. But usually on pick or rub concepts, at least the really, really good ones, the ones that are unstoppable, the first guy is going to go over the top of the linebacker or the second level guy, making him go under. Making him go in front of that first, receiver. And so then he's got a decision to make on the second one. So I'm saying this is the first pick, even though he doesn't run into him. It's designed to force Bynes to come upfield some, so that as the running back's route develops, Bynes can't go over the top of the second, which is the real pick or screen. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. I've tried to make that point numerous times. You can see he actually runs into the receiver and then falls down. These 2 receivers' routes have also cleared out all this space up here for Rodgers to throw it onto. Of course, the running back is wide open. It's just a design play to take advantage of the Ravens' tendency to play man. But I'm just showing you how they create the pick-rub concept with the first guy, Adams, forcing Bynes to go in front of him, and then Bynes has really no good option for the second pick or rub. Great design. And look, sometimes these are situations where the quarterback and the entire offense have reviewed and they've prepared for it during the week. So maybe Rodgers calls this audible. He sees the coverage and changes the play to take advantage of it. That's one of the advantages of getting the offense lined up early, right? You give the quarterback the ability and the time, to audible after he recognizes something. All right, here's a play that utterly confuses the Vikings. It looks like a play action screen. There's going to be a reverse or sweep threat to the top side off of motion. And consequently, there will be no pressure on Rodgers because it looks like they're possibly going to throw a screen. 2 deep crossers are going to be sorted out. They'll be covered well initially, and then Adams finds some space in the back of the end zone. Rodgers, I think, knows where he's going with the football now because he knows there's limited options. They look like they were setting up a screen down here, so you can see that 3 Vikings defenders have responded to that. The sweep threat out here definitely handled this safety. You've got a linebacker and a D-end who also look like they were worried about that. Look at all the space that is here. So you got a well-designed play, and then a guy who understands that he's got all the time in the world now to wait for Davante Adams to figure this thing out. And then he sets his feet and just rips off a great throw, and Adams makes it look ridiculously. Adams made everything look easy. It's going to be scary to see him on the same team with Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow and some of the other guys. I personally believe Foster Moreau's a really good football player too, and adds a lot of options to that offense. End zone angle, you'll see that there is no pressure. This is not something where the Vikings defense coordinator called a 1 or a 2 or a 3-man rush. They've made it look like a screen, a delayed screen, off screen here to us to our left, Rodgers right. Again, you've got the sweep or reverse threat out here. Just so many things going on for the defense to deal with, even though Adams appears to be well covered, and he is. This linebacker does a nice job turning his back to the quarterback. But the problem is once he gets good leverage on Adams, meaning you've got an outside leverage defender in a corner, an inside leverage defender, and the linebacker, well, as soon as he turns and looks at the quarterback, plays over. That's one of the habits that linebackers have, is looking at the quarterback, and I continue to make that point on this channel. Sometimes when you turn your back to the quarterback, all it takes then is a smart and savvy receiver and quarterback to make the connection. All right, against the Cardinals, Rodgers is going to get pressure in his face off the right edge. Forgive the video resolution. This looks a little grainy. And look, this throw ends up being incomplete. This is an incomplete pass. But watch how he understands the time he's got. No one's open yet. No one's open at all, really. And we're not open here because it's 3rd down, and there's the yard to go, so 3rd and 13. We're not really open here. Not open here. Looks like we got something going on up here. This guy, this running back, 33, is going to run across the field. Watch how Rodgers understands the time he's got. It's man. No one else is open. And he misses this throw by like a foot, to be honest with you. Maybe even less than that. Maybe 6 or 8 inches. It's still an interesting play to me. Not just because, look, Rodgers is showing you the athleticism that he still retains at this age. But he's going to drop this throw onto open space. And he thinks he's got it if you watch his body language. It's unbelievable. I can't imagine what it's like to be a high-level athlete starting outside linebacker in the NFL and not be able to sack a quarterback in his late 30s. So a free rush, even when there's a free rusher in his face, Rodgers is incredibly dangerous. Great throw, great full extension by that running back, great effort. Against the Bengals, this one looks kind of really bright. My apologies. You got Adams down here to the bottom side, spot shadowed. I chronicled this. You're going to, in a video on Jesse Bates, this corner is going to be on outside leverage, and then Bates is going to drop down and basically bracket Adams. So they're trying to funnel him into, any route he runs, they're trying to funnel him with an inside and outside bracket. And Adams is going to be Rodgers' first check here, or his first part of the progression. You'll see from the end zone angle. Rodgers moves his focus to the other side of the field briefly, and then while Trey Hendrickson is closing in on him, because the Bengals ran a cool stunt that I'll show you from the end zone angle, Rodgers has the awareness to think and check. Now, he's got a Bengals defender closing down on him right now. But he's checking right now. He's looking for Jesse Bates, because he's trying to get, and he does, successfully get this ball to Randall Cobb. But what he's doing is he's checking to make sure that Bates and Awuzie both stayed with Adams so he can fit this throw in there because he doesn't get a whole lot on this ball. Ridiculous level of awareness. Insane. And you'll get it from the end zone angle, and hopefully, if I didn't do a good job of explaining that to you, hopefully the video will here. Look, Bates initially first, like I said, he's looking at Adams off screen to the left, sees the bracket, understands, okay, I'm not gonna get anything here at first. Here's the stunt they're running. They're running a pick with the D tackle, and Hendrickson's gonna stem to the inside. Great football player, and Hendrickson gets pressure on him. Rodgers is going to make this throw while fading away. Again, he checks as soon as the ball is snapped. As soon as he gets the football, he checks to Adams' side, comes back to the other side, making sure that he's got man. As a guy is closing down on him, he checks Jesse Bates again. Sick play. Really sick play. There's a huge collision between Bates and Cobb right after Cobb catches the ball. I think Bates ends up hurt briefly. I haven't seen a whole lot of this. There's a point that I want to make here. I haven't seen a whole lot of this right here, whereby Rodgers puts the ball in a position to allow one of his receivers to get hit like this. But here's the point. This was 3rd and 15 from midfield. This was overtime against the Bengals. There's about 2:20 left, 2:25, something like that. Score was 22-22, and the last 6 possessions, maybe 7, for both teams combined, has resulted in 5 missed field goals since like mid-late 4th quarter. So weird. I think 5 missed field goals total by the 2 teams combined. So this throw is a unique circumstance. That's what the point I'm trying to make, because of the game and the score situation. An incompletion here is a punt, right, on 4th and 15. So putting this ball out there is a better thing than taking a sack, which clearly you're going to punt, right? So from the standpoint of giving Cobb a chance to make a play, this is obviously very smart. Does Rodgers want his receiver to take a big hit? Of course not. But it's time to win the game. And they both combine to make... Look, if it's the first quarter, I don't think Rodgers puts Cobb in this situation. That's the point that I think illustrates how smart... He might have just taken the sack, unless he felt like he had a great opportunity to make a play. This is the last throw I'm going to show you. I will be honest with you. I've never been a big fan of Aaron Rodgers. Not that I disliked him. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, he's a great player. So how do you dislike a great player? But he played in another division, and I didn't see many of those games. And he almost makes the game look too easy to be like, a fan of. And by the way, after that last completion, the Packers won the game on the next play with a field goal to win 25-22. It seemed like the Terminator. I've made that analogy twice, and what I mean is like it's inevitable. There's been a couple times in the last 6 or 8 years where Packers are playing like a primetime game and they're down like 24-7 or 17-0 mid-second quarter, and I kind of like turn the game off. I'm like, all right, I'll tune back in an hour and a half, because I knew that Rodgers was going to bring him back, and sure enough, he'd throw 4 or 5 touchdowns and they'd win, like 45-35, something crazy. I enjoy breaking down quarterback film. I don't do it all the time. I've done a video on Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson recently. Joe Burrow's effectiveness in empty formation, and 5 playoff throws from Lamar Jackson from the Ravens' loss to the Titans in 2019. But doing quarterback film is not what I enjoy the most. I'll be honest with you. I will link those videos here because I really think QB play is something that's over-evaluated. There's people out there that, honestly, that's all they do. And I don't mean independent content creators. I mean major media stuff, and I rail against those guys all the time. They tend to only analyze quarterback and receiver play, and that's pretty much it. And then, in my opinion, they do a disservice to a lot of fans because they do not highlight or illustrate offensive line play, running back play, tight ends, H-backs enough. And that's just talking about the offensive side of the ball. Rodgers is really fun to watch. I'm near completion of a video on how teams have defended the Ravens offense, okay? And some of the things that you watch with Rodgers, he is exceptional at identifying the coverage pre-snap, I think. Again, I believe 20%, maybe that's a little high, maybe it's 15%, maybe it's 12%, but there's a significant amount of time when Rodgers knows where he's going with the football pre-snap, because you'll see him look to the other side. And it's almost like his mind recognizes the coverage pre-snap, And he says, okay, well, I know I'm probably going, so let me look the other way. I call it his look away. Of course, quarterbacks do that all the time. All quarterbacks do that. I believe Rodgers knows where he's going the football 15, 20% of the time, somewhere around there, and uses the look away as a way to just keep the defense honest. Again, I'm in the middle of a video on the Ravens offense and how teams have defended it since really 2020. It's going to be utilized in the Bills playoff game in 2020, some of the Titans game in 2019, the Bengals game from Week 7 of 2021, the Dolphins game, the Thursday night game from 2021, which I know is going to be difficult for people to see, because you got two vastly different coverages that people are using against the Ravens, specifically Lamar. You got the quarters, split field coverage stuff that we've talked about a lot lately with off corners back at 7-8 yards, sometimes even deeper than that. And then you've got sticks, blitz, zero. And look, I'm going to go over, in that video, I'll go over where that originated from in terms of the first team to use it against the Ravens. And here's a hint for you. It wasn't the Dolphins and it wasn't the Bengals. That video should be out Friday evening if you're interested. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to the channel or supporting me via the channel membership option. Looks like this. There's a join button down near my channel name, All 22 Films. You can support the channel for any option you wish, but there's $1.99 a month, and that gains you access to members-only posts and videos. If you'd like to see more videos like this one about Aaron Rodgers, please let me know in the comment section before things really heat up training camp-wise for the Ravens. I'd like to do some film study of players that people find interesting. Got the next one I did will probably be a defensive side of the ball. It'd be Leighton Vander Esch. A Cowboys fan messaged me on Twitter and asked me to do one of him, so I've got a crap ton of plays to go over for that. I appreciate you guys checking out the video. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down, below to let me know what you thought of the video.